Good morning, y'all. My name is Jorge Gutierrez, and today I'll be answering some questions on ethics and civility discussions. With that being said, first question: the time a relational partner's communication was unethical was when my cousin began to lie to me, and instead of being truthful, he made up fake excuses. So basically, we were in a team together, soccer team, and I would usually pick him up. And the drive was like a little bit far to pick him up. And there were times where I would be there and I'd be waiting for him, and he'd text me, be like, "Oh, I can't go because of this and that." I'd be like, "Oh, okay, no problem." But what would bother me was whenever I'd find out the truth, my mom would, I would like go to my parents or to his mom and be like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "Oh, hey, I'm doing good." And then I'll tell them about my day, and I'll tell them about my cousin, and they'll be like, "Oh, but that didn't happen. This actually happened," or he went out instead of he went out late, yada yada, and it'll make me mad, right? The 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 ethical that he didn't live up to was truthfulness, cause he lied and he didn't come clean. The other four ethicals are respect, which is valuing someone's time, needs, and feelings. Responsibility, taking proper actions in what you do and solving interpersonal problems. Integrity, making the right decisions and acting accordingly based off of a situation. And fairness, which is when you play by the rules and make it equal. Number two, a time I was unethical was when I was in middle school. I would get, or I wouldn't get caught, but I would cheat in PE when we played dodgeball or other various games. Come on, who wouldn't cheat in PE? Like, nobody wanted to get out. Uh, I obviously wasn't being truthful and wouldn't call myself out. Number three, an example of moral absolutism is a student doing their homework. Though the student got it right, the teacher doesn't approve because they didn't show work. An example of moral relativism is a friend starts acting different, but hasn't he hasn't bothered anyone, and he wasn't rude, so you approve of it. The difference is, though absolutism may be right, it is still wrong to do compared to relativism, where even though what's it called? Even though it feels wrong, it still approves, and as long as there is a positive outcome. Number four, I can relate to Erin when I was playing soccer in high school. I would get a lot of good feedback from my coach saying I played well in practice, I was doing good, and I was to keep up the good work. But when it came to the games, he'd never let me play and would say that I would get playing time later, but would never happen. A relational transgression is a unethical action that hurts you. A time I experienced this was when my father promised to play soccer with me after I finished my homework, and when I did finish it, he did it. So womp womp. Number five, interpersonal trust is very essential. Without it, you wouldn't know who to rely or trust. A close relationship that I have is with my cousin, but it lacks interpersonal trust because he tends to lie to me like a lot. To those that I am not close with, the lack of interpersonal trust affects how you talk to them and what you talk to them about, because you don't know what they'll do with that info. Six, the types of deceptions used in this video are omission, because Mike isn't telling exact isn't telling exactly why he can't see her, and false excuses because he's lying and making up things just to not go over. An example of feigned ignorance is a student ignoring his teacher and being on his phone. And then the definition of feigned ignorance is pretending not to know someone that you do know. Number 7. After reading Javanti's narrative, it is a good example of beno. I don't know if I'm saying this word right. Benevolent, benevolent deception, because though he is lying to his patient, it is for their own good. A time I've done this was when a friend asked to play for my team. I asked for him. I asked my club if he could, and they said no because he wasn't good enough. So I told him that the team was full, that we couldn't bring in any more players because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. Number 8, deception is not always a bad thing, because though it has its negatives, it can also be used to help the receiver. A time I've used deceptive affection was at work when they would ask how I felt about my colleagues, and I would lie or not say the full truth when in reality I was tired of their BS. And I still am to this day. Number 9, a low stake is when you have a dishonest communication but there aren't any consequences. An example is telling somebody a blank lie of something that's not important. A high stake is almost the same, but if the receiver were to catch on to the lies, it can lead to consequences and lost relationships. An example is spreading a false rumor to a friend, and your friend catches on and begins to not believe you and eventually loses trust in you. Number 10, the positives of the positives of direct approach is you can get a true answer using this method. The negative is it can cause a conflict due to it seeming confrontational. The positive of indirect approach is you can answer without having to be direct about the question. The negative is people may not tell you the truth or may answer with another question. The positive convert is you can use this technique to get someone to say the truth. The negative is that they can call your bluff and can be ethical. 11. To me, language of responsibility means to know when you are wrong and using the right words and to show that. And oh, I lost my here. Let me reread that again. To me, language of responsibility means to know when you're wrong and using the right words and to show that. An example is when a player makes a bad play and calls himself out or apologizes to the team for his errors. Number 12. I like the way I hope I don't butcher his name. Arush handles the situation. I've learned that there are better ways to handle situations while being honest and not hurting anyone's feelings. I think this is a good approach in a relationship because it will cause less arguments and better understandings. Geneva's behavior in the video shows blackmail. And yes, I would consider her behavior illegal because, oh my gosh. First of all, I think if you're married and if you get caught cheating, I think you should get like some sort of like consequence besides divorce. Like some sort of, like if it's jail time, man, make it at least a year. But no, I think it's messed up because first of all, I'm pretty sure blackmail is illegal, depending on how it is. But yeah, I think it definitely should be a Leo because that's pretty messed up, especially with the fact that the friend had to find out, and then she fakes cries and tries to like basically put it on him, saying that if he were to call her out, then she would call him out from a situation that they had a couple of years back before her his before his friend met his now wife. But yeah, I think and like she's kind of crazy too. I don't know. That's what I think, me personally. The last question is they didn't it was the video about Raymond or nobody like or everybody loves Raymond. In that video, I don't think they didn't believe Raymond because the girl that was dating her brother, she seemed like a really good person who wouldn't do such a thing. They also thought Raymond was just trying to ruin an opportunity for his brother. For interpersonal trust, I guess they respect and trust the girl more than they do with Raymond. And yeah, those are all my questions answered. Thank you guys. Have a good day.